Hey everyone, welcome to Q the series. On this episode, we talk about the inclusion of Marvel in the theme park industry. As we all know, in 2009, the Walt Disney Company acquired Marvel for $4 billion. Since 2009, the Walt Disney Company has gone on to create a massively successful movie franchise. People have been excited to see how these characters are going to be integrated into the Disney theme parks, but the only problem is they can't all be in the Disney parks. Now, why is that? Well, it all started in 1994 with Marvel and a company called Music Corporation of America, or MCA for short. MCA was the parent company of Universal at the time, and after the success of the Universal Studios theme parks in Orlando, they wanted to build a second park right next door to Universal Studios based on a cartoon world concept. MCA called up their buddies DC and decided they wanted to build a land based on Batman's Gotham City. Shortly after that, Time Warner, the parent company of Warner Brothers, who owned DC at the time, acquired Six Flags, and the idea of a DC inclusion at Universal Studios was quickly snuffed. After the rejection by DC to Universal Studios, they went to Marvel to see if they would be interested in being included in their second gate. Marvel agreed, but there would be plenty of stipulations. Marvel could say no to any possible ideas, and all final say had to go through Marvel Studios. So the match was made in heaven, and Marvel's Superhero Island opened in 1999 at Universal's Islands of Adventure. On opening day, the Incredible Hulk coaster, The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man, and Doctor Doom's Fearfall impressed guests visiting Islands of Adventure. About a year later, Stormforce Accelatron, an X-Men themed teacup ride, opened to join them. You could also eat at the Captain America Diner or the Cafe 4, a Fantastic Four themed quick service restaurant. The original contract gave Universal Studios the exclusive right to those Marvel characters to be used in any of their locations across the world. After the success of Islands of Adventure, they opened up another campus over in their Japan park. After those 2 years, if Universal failed to initiate a plan to include the Marvel characters in another one of their parks, the theme park rights would be split into 3 separate categories. Those 3 properties are defined by east of the Mississippi, west of the Mississippi, and rules that apply to both sides of the Mississippi. According to the contract, if Islands of Adventure uses a character, no park east of the Mississippi can use any of the characters that Islands of Adventure is currently using. This includes members of the same family, so, for example, the Avengers or the X-Men. On the other side of the Mississippi, it's kind of like the Wild West. Since Universal didn't decide to include Marvel over in Universal Hollywood, any theme park west of the Mississippi can use any Marvel character they want. Which means since Disney owns Marvel, Disney's going to use those characters. The catch? No park, either east or west of the Mississippi, can use the word Marvel in any of their promotions for any projects going forward. Does this make sense? No? Maybe? Let's make it clearer. In the West, there are no Marvel characters at Universal Studios, which means Disney can do pretty much whatever it wants with Marvel characters. Disney has already transformed the classic Tower of Terror to Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, and they've announced a new Avengers campus that will be taking over the former spot of a Bugs Land that will be opening this summer. The Avengers campus will feature a new Spider-Man ride, a food location based on Ant-Man and the Wasp, and in Phase 2 it will feature an e-ticket attraction at the Avengers headquarters. In the East, Universal kinda has Marvel by the Infinity Stones. By contract, Disney can't use any character that Universal is currently using, and that includes those of the same family. By this standard, Universal's inclusion rules out the Incredible Hulk, Spider-Man, the X-Men, and the Fantastic Four in attractions alone. It also rules out the Avengers due to the Captain America Diner inclusion. That leaves Disney with a fairly small range of characters that they can use, which is why thus far they've only used the Guardians of the Galaxy in their Florida parks, because most other IPs to Marvel are being used currently at Universal's Islands of Adventure. Now, Walt Disney World does have a Marvel store located at Disney Springs, but because it's not inside of an actual theme park, it's permitted by contract. As long as Universal still stands open, pays for those rights, or Marvel can argue that they are not using the characters correctly, Universal will continue to just hold Marvel firm and tight until they decide to get rid of it. Thanks so much for watching the first ever episode of the Q series. If you like this video and you want to see more like this, please like and subscribe and hit the bell notification icon so you can be notified whenever we post another video. Also, hop over to Spotify and follow the Q2Q podcast, where my good buddy Ben and I talk about all things Disney, theme parks, or anything related to those subjects. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.